So what we do, yeah, if we just start off by telling us a little bit about your background and how you got into trading.
How I got into trading. You want the brutal truth? So the brutal truth of how I got into trading. I watched a television show on Channel 4 called Richest Kids Do Christmas, right?
Yeah,
Two of those kids, one of them was buying his dad a helicopter for
yeah,
Christmas, and one had just gone out and spent like 30K in London with no stress, and both were traders. And I
uh,
had no clue what trading was. And I
yeah,
was like, what is this? I'm busting my ass out here. I'm
yeah,
definitely not earning 30K a month to just go spend or whatever. And I'm not buying my dad a helicopter this week.
yeah,
So started doing a bit of research, and inevitably you see all the marketing and you think it's like a get rich quick scheme. This is it. This is the holy grail of money making. Why haven't I seen this before? Blah blah blah. Got in, done all the usual courses. At the time, I think Astro Effects were the big boys.
uh-huh.
So I did their course. I did another course, Fibs Don't Lie. A few others, bounced around a load of groups, and this was all manual trading.
Yep,
And really, it was all basically all a regurgitation of support and resistance. That was
yeah,
it. But I went through, took tiny bits out of each, and I had okay success. I guess I didn't lose a ton of money, but I didn't make a ton of money,
yeah,
and I just kept struggling. But through going in the groups, I kind of made about five solid friends who we then started kind of our own group, not for any purpose other than bouncing ideas off each other. And if we saw anything that seemed good, we'd, put it out there.
yeah,
And then the first experience of EA trading was a company called the Algo Group. And I think they featured on something like Trading Nuts podcast. And they were boasting about this new algo they developed, and it was like the FTMO killer.
yeah,
Um, Not a guaranteed pass, but they passed, I don't know, the last 100 challenges they'd done, it was a 98% win rate or something.
mm-hmm.
And I'd only just started researching into prop firms. This was, long before HFT. This was when really there was only about three,
Yeah,
three prop firms floating about. So got an FTMO challenge, done the demo challenge, and the bot passed it. And I was like, yes, this is it.
is it?
Got a live challenge, didn't pass it. It done 5 days and then tanked
Yeah,
because it had no equity protect, no, it was a martingale bot, but it had no settings. It was just pure like
yeah,
stack, 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 die. And so yeah, but then in doing so, I think because I'd then been looking into EAs, um, I started getting more adverts for it on things like Google, Instagram, etc., and stumbled across POW back in like version 6, I think, early version 6.
is that
Looked
last
into
year?
it, yeah, year and probably just a year and a bit now, year and a couple of months ago. Looked into it, thought, well, it's got a lot more settings. Got into the community, bought the EA. Definitely didn't realize the kind of learning curve of it, because again, I was looking to be spoon fed. I wanted the get rich quick scheme. I wanted someone to go, look, use these settings, put it on this, walk away, go have your pina coladas, and it will make you
Yeah, yeah.
5% a month, whatever, 10% a month.
Buy
Actually,
buy that helicopter, man.
do you know what I mean? Dad was look picking out colours, but yeah, it was that. So I genuinely wanted that at that time, and I genuinely believed that was attainable somehow.
Yeah,
Um, and then realized, look, if you want this, you're going to have to put the work in. So then started going through the material, looked through it. I still kind of manually traded now and again, obviously just doing a bit of paper trading on TradingView, um, predominantly fibs, because it was quite a cool little strategy that a guy developed in Bali that worked on the 15-minute and the 1-minute strategy. You'd find a point of interest on the 15-minute, narrow it right down on the 1-minute for entry. And when it worked, the risk to reward was mad. It was absolutely mental. And it
yeah,
had quite a cool risk strategy in the sense of what you'd do is you'd always open two positions. The
yeah.
first position would go risk free straight after 1-to-1, and then the next position you'd let run to your finished destination, wherever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
Done that for a while, again, reasonable success. All this unfunded, just kind of demo trading and very small personal capital at the time, just to get a feel for it, get used to the losses, get over that hurt,
Yeah,
the realization that you're not going to do 100% win rate. You are going to have to take hits. They've got to be calculated. which at
Mhm.
the start of anyone trading, it's not, because you're risking like 10% of position at least.
Yeah.
You've got like £500 in an account and you want to make £500 a week or whatever.
The thing
So
is, you have to go through that pain, right? You have to
you
go
do.
through that pain at the start.
And if anyone genuinely tells you you can avoid that, they're lying.
Yeah, yeah,
Shorten it
yeah,
by being willing to learn and willing to take the experience of other traders. You can 100% shorten that experience, but you're never not going to do it, because at some point you will have a nice winning streak and you'll think you've won.
yeah,
You will think you're invincible, and then you'll inevitably up your risk,
yeah,
or you'll move the stop losses. You'll do these little things that we've all done. If you've been in the trading game for any longer than about 6 months, you will have done it.
yeah,
Um, and then you'll realize that, oh, whoops, now I've lost 10%. And
yeah,
again, it's what people don't understand. If you lose 50% of your account, you have to make 100% to get it back. That's
yeah,
just a break even.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, and again, you're then in that chase revenge trading psychology. Well, look, everyone's done it. And I went through that experience. And now I'm looking, I run my own business. So my time is a bit sporadic. Sometimes I've got loads of time on my hand. Other
yeah,
times it's high demand and I don't have the time to sit in front of the chart. So I did want a passive method. I still love trading
yeah,
and I had a love for it because I am naturally a geek anyway. I love
yeah,
nerding out on stuff and digging deep in stuff and finding the nuances and little quirks.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I love trading, but I did want to find a solution that would maybe run in the background. And if I ever get time to sit in front of the charts, I'll do so.
Yeah. So
But
while we're on the subject of like going through that pain, etc.
yeah,
What would you say like three of your major challenges were before you actually came across POW? Like what were the three things that you really struggled with?
consistency,
Yeah,
100% consistency.
yeah,
And it was partly down to the tools I was using and partly down to my own inability to touch things.
yep. Okay.
That was yeah, consistency, knowledge. So believing, but I think one of my problems was a bit of self-belief as well. So
Yeah,
I would have been trading, let's say, 6 months, and
yep,
there'd be a guy that'd walk into a Discord thing, or it was predominantly Telegram at that time, but go into a Telegram group who had been trading a week, and he'd throw up some weird advice stroke strategy. And for some reason, I'd believe him over myself. I'd think, oh, this is long. And he'd be going, yeah, this is short all day because this is this and this. And I'd go, oh, he must be right. He seems to know what he's talking about. He's
that's
got
what you're talking
confidence.
about. Yeah.
And so I'd go short and it'd go long like I thought it would.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why did I listen to him? He's been trading a week. I've been doing this 6 months. But for some reason, that self-doubt as to again, it comes back to that wanting to be told what to do in a way.
Yeah, I also think it comes from like one going back to the consistency thing, but like time as well.
Hmm.
You'd build up that self. I guess like being part of Power when you're doing the back testing, you have all that data and you have
Yeah.
that in front of you. Like the longer you can spend kind of testing and running on your demo accounts, the more confidence you have, and then the more self belief you get over time, right?
Yeah, exactly that. But and that's, as you say, that's a big factor. Time. Stop
Yeah,
thinking it's going to happen in a week. Stop thinking it's going to happen in a month.
yeah,
Be willing to know this is a long-term game, but if you put the time in, you
yeah,
will reap the rewards. It's
yeah,
going to happen,
100%. Yeah,
you know. And don't get me wrong, it's not just trading. That applies to most disciplines.
yeah,
You want to learn to ride a bike when you was young. It didn't happen in the day. You went out in that park and you put hours in.
yeah,
You had your
100%.
stabilizers, and then you took them off, and then you took that leap and you went on your
Yeah,
own. You know,
yeah,
it
that's great.
happens. Everything's time.
That's great.
Stop rushing things. We live in an Amazon next day delivery world where
Yeah,
everyone wants instant gratification and instant success.
yeah,
And again, realize, stop looking. You got that. We all want to. We hear what we want to hear. Everyone wants to look at Elon Musk. He's one of the richest guys in the world, but he struggles. He's got problems, and he didn't do it overnight.
yeah, exactly.
You
So
know,
true.
it's that iceberg effect, isn't it? Everyone sees the success, but they don't see the bottom
Yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah,
And that's, I think that's a big realization. That was my third probably struggle, is realizing that, don't get me wrong, this will work out, but
it's
it's
gonna
not
take
going to be
longer
quick.
than I thought. Yeah.
And
So
I
like,
think I
sorry.
think So yeah, no, I think POW helped me with that because it has such a structure,
Yeah,
and it does give you, it does spoon feed you without spoon feeding you. All the information is there, but they kind of just encourage you to go find it.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But they're always still there to hold your hand to a certain degree
yeah.
and go, all right, cool, look, you know, yes, it is there in the videos, but on this occasion, this is what it is. But now go back and watch the video because it explains it in more detail.
Yeah, 100%. So if nothing had changed, if nothing had changed, like with POW, and you hadn't have changed, like taken those steps to move forward, like
Hmm.
where would you currently be now with your trading?
I honestly don't know if I'd still be trading. I wouldn't personally have the time to manually trade, that's for sure. You
Every
know,
single person has said the same thing.
really.
Every single person I've jumped on a call with has said I wouldn't be trading.
Yeah, I just don't think, this allows me to do what I need to do and still know that things are happening in the background. I predominantly test between a Friday and Sunday, or as I say, if my work schedule allows, I've got a few days in the week, I'll look at additional things
Yeah,
to
yeah, no,
try and just gain extra knowledge, or I'll test a strategy that I haven't used. As I said to you at the beginning of the call, I see with the new banker, a lot of people are looking at the ATR as quite a good feature. I personally haven't got that in my optimization files at the minute, but I do now want to. I've got hopefully about a 3 day window with no work at the moment.
yeah,
I'm going to dig deep into that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and see what that goes. But yeah, in terms of actually trading, I probably want to, but I wouldn't have the time commitment. And I think then again, the more time you're out of the markets,
Yeah.
it's scarier to get back in.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I hear you on that one, man. That would have affected you, like, I'm guessing anyway, that probably would have affected you personally as well. Like, what sort of effect do you think that would have had on you personally?
In terms of my what financial
In,
situation.
no, not nothing to do with your financial situation, just in terms of like, if you had, let's say you started your journey trading, you put
Mm,
all that time in, then all of a sudden you're not trading, how
yeah,
is that going to affect your mindset, your
yeah. I mean,
confidence?
it's I'm fortunate in the sense of I never see failure as true failure. It's a learning
Right.
experience. So I don't think it wouldn't have knocked me to not ever, like, I don't know, try something else new.
Yeah,
I think I would have always had in my head that what if, especially because naturally going through the process of learning how to trade, etc., you follow X amount of people on Instagram, and don't get me wrong, a lot of them are just Instagram flexers where they're showing their Lambos, etc., etc.
yeah,
But there would still be that alluring lifestyle and that slight in your head of, well, I might have been able to achieve that if I'd have just given it that extra couple of months, or
yeah.
if I'd have just taken that different road,
You
you
feel
know.
like you let yourself down, right?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, a little bit of yeah, regret. And
Yeah,
no one wants
regret.
regret.
That's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, exactly
Not
that.
much regrets.
So whilst you've been part of PAL,
Hmm.
what would you say you've really focused on the most in terms of products?
Banker for sure, obviously. I didn't get the edge strategy. I got Red Alert when it first came out. I'm still getting to grips with Red Alert.
Yeah.
That one baffles me a tiny bit,
It
and
takes a
also,
little bit of time to learn, that does.
well, I think also because the prop firms have so many different rules and regulations. I think Red Alert is an absolute beast on live capital,
Yeah.
especially with the sort of wide stop loss and take profit approach.
Yeah.
Absolute monster. You can kind of set and forget, do your due diligence beforehand, and you don't know, nothing's ever guaranteed in this world, but you have a definite feeling of safety with that.
Yeah.
You're not
100%.
going to set the world on fire, but you can consistently drip feed 0.1, 0.2% every
Yeah.
news event or every major news event very comfortably. And that's fantastic because again, and I think again, this is a thing that trading makes you very numb to is the truth of percentages. Even if you're making 2% a month,
Mm.
you compare that to, like a bank interest rate of 0.6% a year, and
Yeah.
you're making that a month and thinking you're doing poorly.
Yeah.
You look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. It's
You're,
a good
you're
point.
you're doing something that 99% of people would give their left leg for.
Yeah, I love that.
And you're
Love
kind
that.
of beating yourself up about it, thinking 2% of it rubbish.
It's because you're seeing the big payouts from these prop firms, right? It's like you
Well,
got 200K account and it's like you're seeing people, withdraw 5, 10, 15K and you're
yeah, yeah.
like, Like anything below a grand, you're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
kind of not worth it, right?
I
But
don't get out of bed for that. But then you get your wage packet or whatever you earn at the end of the month.
yeah,
And you're like, this is amazing.
I could do that.
Yeah, yeah. Comparatively,
Yeah,
trading makes you a little bit unrealistic sometimes to
yeah,
potential and a little bit
definitely.
ungrateful to what you're actually being able to achieve.
100%. That's a great point. I never even thought about it like that. Yeah, that's great stuff. So what sort of success have you seen whilst using Bank at EA? Like,
My
um,
success is 100% compounded. As the knowledge has gone up, my success has gone through the roof. And it
are you
again,
funded?
yes, yeah, funded FCFF, might as well not be funded with them.
Yeah. Oh, no.
um, LUS
Yeah, nice.
currently, but obviously their rules changed and they're a little bit they're
Tricky.
very awkward to test for, but don't get
Yeah,
me wrong, we get around it. And then a small personal pot,
nice. And
which
then
I
when you talk about compounding, what do you mean? Like in terms of knowledge or confidence or
both 100% both. So once I started putting the work in and
yeah.
stop trying to be lazy, so I'd spend 5 hours, let's say, trying to find a shortcut instead of using that 5 hours to learn something.
Hmm.
And that's wasted time.
I love that, mate. Yep. This is where
So
people are going wrong the most, right?
yeah, you
Looking for
spend
these shortcuts.
exactly, and you're expelling all that energy trying to find something that if you just put that effort or that time allowance
Learn.
into the actual thing, you'd
Mm,
be 10 steps ahead.
yeah.
And
Over the long run, especially.
yeah, and you sleep easier when it's a feeling of satisfaction. When you know that, don't get me wrong, if someone was to turn around to me tomorrow and go, here's this EA, here's this file, and it will make you a millionaire, and it did, I'd be happy in a
Yeah.
sense, but it's
Yeah.
not a satisfaction.
Yep.
The satisfaction of putting the work in and getting the results out is what actually is gratifying.
Yep.
And it's
100.
nice now that there's a process. Obviously, Jake made the Excel sheet, which is phenomenal. There's the back test cake. It's slicker than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And that allows you an element of confidence in the testing process. Previously, what I'd do as well is I'd test, let's say, I don't know, 822 approach. And then the tests obviously run from, say, Sunday to Friday. But
Yeah.
then because I was nervous to enter on a Monday because of volatility coming in after the weekend, I wouldn't turn it on until Monday afternoon. And then I'd be like, well, why doesn't the results match my data? Because I'm not running it how the back test has been done. If I
Yes.
want to turn it on a Monday afternoon, then test from Monday afternoon to Friday.
Yep.
So I was trying to think I knew better than the data and the EA. And that
Uh,
was causing me stress because, as I said, then I'd be looking at a spreadsheet telling me, yeah, you're going to easily smash 2% this month, and I'd be getting 0.4. Did a
yeah.
project, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
Mm.
But then,
Someone asked me in the group yesterday, do you ever manually interfere with the
yeah,
EA? And I was like, well, the whole point of using an algo is so that it takes that out of your hands, like so
yeah,
that you don't get involved. And if you're getting involved, you're just not going to see those results. Like, what's the point in me closing down trades early when all my data says if I leave it, then I'm going to
yeah,
earn XYZ at the end of the month?
exactly that. And again, it's that thing that you will have done, I will have done, every trader's done. You'll be willing to move a stop loss. You'll never move a TP. You
Yeah,
won't try and make more, but
yeah,
you'll always be willing to lose more.
yeah, yeah.
You'll think, oh, it's at a resistance. If I just move it down another 10 pips, it's definitely gonna
It's definitely
come
going to
back.
reverse.
And it doesn't.
Yeah,
You lose more than you think. But if it's going close to your TP, if anything, you move your TP closer. You don't push it 10 pips
yeah.
into the sky and think, yeah, I'm gonna make more profit.
It's a good point, man. It's a good
You
point.
know, and that is the manual intervention that anyone will do will always be detrimental.
Yeah,
It's never going to help you
yeah,
because of psychology, because of fear, and it's still a calculated risk. So previously, the fear may have come from overexposure. When you're starting out as a trader and you're not even calculating your lot sizes. You're just like throwing numbers at charts because it seems right.
yeah,
Um, so that fear comes because you're sitting at £1,000 account and you're looking at negative £150, which doesn't sound like in monetary terms, but that's 15%.
yeah,
And that fear comes from, oh my God, that's £150 I just lost.
yeah,
And you get anxious, you get sweaty, and you interfere.
yeah.
And inevitably as well, the minute you interfere, it does go in your favor
Uh-huh. Or every time.
and you kick yourself. It's just,
It really sounds like you've got your psychology on point. Like just speaking to you and listening to the way you speak about this stuff, like it sounds like you're really on track with your psychology. But one thing I want to know, like, has that had a positive impact on your personal life as well?
Yeah, it definitely has because I mean, as I said, I'm fortunate enough that I've always been of the mindset that you can't fail, you just learn. So that's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's not allowed me to slump too much when inevitably life deals you crap hands because it does. Life is life. Um, but I think also, yeah, getting that consistency, understanding the process. Uh, Trading isn't an easy game. Trading isn't for the faint of heart. It is tough mentally. You're not going into a battle and you're not fighting anybody, but mentally it's straining. And
Yeah.
those times it can be draining and it can have an effect, especially on your personal life, because your
Mhm.
mood swings when you've had a big loss definitely affect, those around you when you're being all grumpy and oh, I've done this.
It's
And
extremely stressful, mate. Like
yeah,
at the start, it's unbelievably stressful. Like going back to the whole pain thing, right? You're gonna carry that pain around with you all day long.
yeah,
If you blow an account in the early stages, I don't know about you, but whenever I blew an account, like I wouldn't talk for the rest of the day. Like
ah,
going and like my missus would be like, "What's wrong? Just tell me what's wrong." I'd be like, "I don't want to talk about it."
yeah,
And then I'll go and do it the next day, or like I'll do
yeah,
it the week after, and it's like that had such a negative impact on me.
yeah.
Like it just ends up affecting the people around you as well.
But also it affects you not also when you don't lose. So when in the manual days, if I couldn't trade for a certain reason, that would be the day that I'd go look back on the chart and in, hindsight is 2020. I'd look
Yeah.
back and be like, I would have won that trade. I would have won that trade. I would have won that one. So I'd have been
Yeah.
£400 up today. And then I'd get in a shitty mood because I hadn't been
Yeah.
in the chart. So then it's affecting me without even trading. I'm now affecting myself
Yeah. Yeah.
because of that
Yeah.
stupidity. It is stupidity because the
Yeah.
market is going to be back tomorrow. If you're mechanical about your approach and you can be a little bit level-headed, you
Yeah.
will succeed. It is about that robotic approach. If you can do it, and it's not easy, and it does take, and just stop trying to skip pain. Just
Yeah.
learn from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Stop it.
Great stuff. Great stuff, man. Really, really interesting to listen to you talk, actually. But in like, if you was to give either new members or people that are on the fence about joining POW, if you was to give them three pieces of advice, what would
Hmm.
they be?
So, firstly, in terms of joining PAL, you do get what you are sold. It's not it's not a marketing ploy. They won't tell you you're going to achieve greatness and then you won't, but they will happily tell you you can achieve greatness if you're willing to put in the work. And that is what you will get. And there are a set of tools that will enable you to do so. I've probably purchased over the time 4, 5, 6 maybe algos of different varieties and different strategies. They've never ever been what they said they were going to be, and they've never really came with any sort of support in terms of how to actually use them, other than maybe one set file that everyone's using
Yeah,
and things. So if you're nervous about whether power is a good investment, it 100% is, but it's only a good investment if you're willing to then invest in yourself in terms of time.
love that.
If you're not going to do so, then there's no point. It really is pointless. Take that money, go buy yourself a pair of trainers and enjoy the trainers until they run out, because you'll get more satisfaction out of that than you will buying this and not using it correctly.
Yeah, I love that.
In terms of just general trading in general for new traders, as with everything in life, you will get out of it what you put into it. So please do not think it is, in a way, it is the Holy Grail, but it's only the Holy Grail if you allow it to be so. And the only way you're going to allow it to be so is by buy it, take a week at least to absorb all of the information and ask all of the questions that you need to ask, but try and keep the questions tangible. Do a bit of research first. You know, be as specific as you can with the question, but also have it backed up by, oh, I'd like to achieve this, but I've kind of looked at A, B, and C first and they didn't work out. So am I missing a step? Or,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, Google's your friend, Baby Pips is your friend. There's an awful lot of free resources out there
yeah,
will give you a really good solid foundation and framework in trading in general,
yeah,
which I think POW is definitely not an entry level EA. It is an advanced tool with an
Yeah.
awful lot of advanced features, and you kind of need to have a base knowledge of at least some of those features in order to get the most out of it. So yeah, do a bit of research, but you can't go far wrong in terms of actually the tool itself and the staff behind it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna, from my experience, you're not gonna find a better team and a better tool. And again, it's, you know, it's constantly updated. It's constantly refreshed. There's constantly new strategies being explored, both by members and the staff, all of which are shared. The community is great,
Yeah.
you know, in the sense of it does genuinely feel like
It's a,
everyone is, yeah, everyone's trying to help each other genuinely for the
yeah.
success. There's not really
Have a
much.
look through them chats, and it's like, you know, any one of them chats today. I was scrolling through this morning, and there's so many people just jumping in and
Yeah,
just sharing like knowledge. It's just insane.
exactly that. You know, it is a really good community, and also it's been thriving. If anything, it's only getting better. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of communities that I've jumped in, be it either through purchased products or just free communities, they're kind of 100 miles an hour for the first 2 months, and then it dies.
Then it dies.
You
Yeah.
know, the member count goes from 300 down to 30, and then all that ends up happening is those 30 are affiliate marketers who start spamming links to the next group that's
That's
going to give you like
interesting.
VIP signals or some rubbish.
I've never been part of a trading group, so I wouldn't even know if I'm honest. But that's interesting to hear.
You lucked out. Trust me, you lucked out. You got
Yeah.
into a good one first, and that's
Yeah.
great. Because again, sometimes one of the things as well is sometimes coming in super fresh allows you to learn the right way the first time.
Yeah.
Learning poor habits in the markets is quite hard.
Yeah.
Such as not touching the stop loss, not doing this, not doing that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas you might have previously learned in another trading group, oh, this is a strong area of resistance, blah, blah, blah. And the
Yeah.
algo is saying, this is still going to go up. And you're thinking, no, 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 this
I
is a
know.
reversal point. And then that anxiety to interfere comes in
Yeah.
because of previously learned behavior. But if that previously learned behavior had been so successful, you wouldn't be here anyway. So just calm down, trust the data, let it do its thing.
Brilliant. 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 Excellent, mate. Um, well, in terms of what we've covered, I think we pretty much covered absolutely everything in this video. Like that's been unbelievable, to be honest, mate.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So yeah, really, really good advice. I think a lot of people are going to learn from this, and it's
Hopefully, you know,
like you are on the right track.
I think, yeah, hopefully now, as I say, I feel far more comfortable in my approach to it now. I
Yeah,
know that when I'm looking at data, I trust it.
yeah,
My general state of being is better because I don't interfere now. I'm confident. Don't get me wrong, I still check in just to
yeah,
make
of
sure things are working and ticking along. And if
course.
if the algo hasn't taken a trade for say 6 to 8 hours or whatever, I'll jump on the VPS and just make sure that hasn't reset itself or whatever.
Yeah,
So you still, those interventions are fine. Do a
yeah,
check-in, but if it's running, if everything's excuse me, if everything's ticked and looking good,
yeah.
wait, get on with your day.
Leave it to do its thing.
100%, yeah.
Fantastic, man. I'm not going to take up too much of your time,
That's
but
cool.
thank you very much. Like that was brilliant, man.
You're welcome.
I'm going to end the recording and then